Southern Charm, or a six-pack of Bud would be nice. Think of a snapshot and you think of just that, a picture of an exact moment in time. But think of the entirety of your life, and your mental snapshot is far from that specific. Said snapshot in your mind may be a day, a week, a month, or perhaps even 2 years. And it is in that ocean of a moment that so many memories come flooding to the surface.
A six-pack of Bud would be nice. We followed the signs directing us to Laurel Bay, our new home base for the next 2 years. A square-jawed, buzzed-cut Marine stood guard at the entrance, straightening up taller and saluting as our red and white Buick pulled up. "Hey, Eddie," I remarked, that was so cool. How did he know to salute you?" Eddie grinned and he winked at me as he sat up a little straighter. "He actually saluted the car," Eddie explained. "There's a sticker on the front and back of the bumper with a code number indicating my rank. When you finally get your license, and I hope it's sooner than later, and as long as you're tooling around in this car, you too will command the respect of a salute." My wry husband continued to explain the subtle nuances of military life. "Do I have to salute back?" I winked. "Only if you think he's cute. Or you can give a backward wave, just like the Queen of England. That's up to you. But really a moot point, until and unless you get that driver's license under your belt." He reiterated the need for me to find a driving instructor pronto. "Geez Louise, give me a break, Lieutenant Ed. Who needed a license in Brooklyn when there was always a bus or a subway a corner or two away?" Eddie glanced down on the map that the Marine Guard handed us. According to the grid, 274 Aspen Lane was left at the first intersection of Main and Aspen and 4 homes down on the right. There was no way in all of hell or Laurel Bay to locate your home except for the numbers nailed to the top of each carport. Rows and rows of red shingled A-frame houses lined each street as if a cloning clinic had exploded, belching out 1,000 versions of the original red shingled A-frame house, each aligned in a precise and orderly fashion. Without much ado, we found 274 Aspen. Eddie parked under the carport, turned the ignition off, and turned to me with a shrug of his shoulders. "Home sweet home," he remarked. "Let's get the baby out of the back seat and allow me to carry both of you over the threshold." I still was holding too much baby fat, and that baby had added onto my waist, so I reneged the courtly gesture to be schlepped through the doorway, but I had no objection for baby Brian to be whisked through the open doorway. Actually, the interior of the house was really, really nice. Our own furniture, which had shipped intact, was arranged in the living room, the master bedroom, and the guest and the baby's room. Move-in ready, as they say. We were going to be adults now. No moms or dads. No naysayers questioning housekeeping do's and don'ts, child rearing, or whatever. We left that behind back in New York, and now we had to figure it out for ourselves. Okay, that felt right. At 26 years old, a baby in tow, yep, that felt right. But what didn't feel so right, like the beginning of a stitch in my side, stopping me in my tracks, was a sudden pang of discomfort, was the loss of friends that we left behind. No more invitations to Saturday night fondue parties. No more last-minute phone call. "Hey, up for a run down to the Lexington Diner tonight?" They say that after a while, married couples start to look alike. They resemble each other in some way. It's probably chronicled somewhere by some obscure research group that married couples may be subliminally tuned into each other, capable of reading each other's thoughts. I met some of the guys down at the clinic. Seems like a good group. Don suggested that we all get together this weekend at the Officers Club for a meet and greet, sort of get together, wives included. Are we in? Eddie asked while shaking his head happily up and down. We're in. I shook my head happily up and down. Two Yankees, two Jewish Yankees, trying to wade through a wave of Southern belles and beaux, replete with echoes of Ashley and Scarlett, Southern drawls. We smiled our way through the Officers Club. Our keen New York radar beamed in on familiar territory, drawing us toward fellow Northerners. Often we were invited to celebrate Christmas with new friends, and in kind, we often extended invitations to join our family for a Passover Seder. It was a fun and educational exchange of cultural awareness. It felt right. It felt good. I volunteered to wrap Christmas presents for the recruits. Interested in joining me? Susan, my outspoken, lawn mowing, barbecuing, dog grooming, jack of all trades, can do anything any man can do friend, asked. I thought that I was at least capable of sticking some Scotch tape on the corners of shiny silver paper, so sure, I'm game. Somehow Susan's packages put mine to a pitiful shame, but it was the thought, right? We left the smiling, happy recruits with their armfuls of holiday packages, and satisfied with our good deeds, we walked down the dark street toward Susan's car. Susan abruptly put her arm in front of me, stopping me in my tracks. I followed her eyes as she looked up into a tree on our left. Dangling from a wide tree branch was a pair of camouflage pattern pants. The pants started to move. Hey, yelled Susan, get the hell down from there. What do you think you're doing? A very scared, very young, acne-faced boy jumped down. Shaking and crying like the boy he still was, even though the Marine Corps was still trying to convince him otherwise. He fell into Susan's arms, crying for his mom and desperate to escape the Marine Corps. Susan held him close, whispered words I could not hear into his ear as she walked him back into the building. I did make some special friends when we lived in Beaufort, South Carolina. I think I'm in labor, I announced to Eddie at 6:30 a.m. on January 29th, 1970. You think? Don't you know? Haven't you done this before? Eddie paced up and down our bedroom. Okay, go to the clinic. I think I have plenty of time if it's anything like the last time. I'll call Susan to sit with me, and if we need you, I'll call you. No, I take that back. I think we need to get to the hospital right now. I doubled over. Just made it to the hospital before our little Elisa proved to have no patience to dilly-dally and waste 16 precious hours like her brother chose to do on his birth date. Elisa came into this world announcing that I am no nonsense. Hear me now, world, because I will be heard. A delightful, beautiful, challenging daughter blessed us that day in January. We packed up the red and white Buick, strapped in 2-year-old Brian and 6-month-old Elisa into their car seats, and drove away from 274 Aspen Lane. So much more of life awaited us as we traveled the road back to New York. Ah, sweet mysteries of life. What awaits us 800 miles up the road? P.S. I did pass my driving test. My instructor had suggested a celebratory 6-pack of Bud might be nice. I hate beer, but whatever floats your boat.